Hi guys, welcome to Wisdomjobs.com. This is Uday, faculty of quantitative aptitude. We are going to discuss the percentages new questions, right? So let us enter into the questions. First, these are very important for all competitive examinations like RRB, NDPC, like SSC, CHSL and RBI notification. Any notification came, because in every exam definitely you will get the question from percentages. Let us see some basic questions how they ask in the examination, right? So let's go for the discussion. Right, observe here, this question is something is given like the value of 35% of a garden is given as 10,500 like square meters or anything. Find its total value, that is asking, right? So let us see that already in last classes we discussed that how to find the percentage of a number. Is it clear? Suppose 10% of this number becomes how much? 10,050 or 10,500 is the whole number. So in this number we are finding the 10% value, that becomes 1050, and is asking about 35%, and this is 35% of garden is this one. Total value we don't know. Is it clear, all of you? For example, the value of the total garden is x or x square meters. Right? Now we are going to discuss about the 35% of this x is given 10,500. Is it clear? This is not the entire value of the garden. That is only 35% of the garden. Right? So if you observe here, 35% of this x is given as 10,500. This is the values given. Now we have to find this x value, that indicates total area of the garden. So 35% means 35 by 100 into x is equal to 10,500. This is given. So coming to here, this is exactly cancelled by 7. So 5 7s are, this is 5 20s are 100. And your x can be written as what? If you take x here, it becomes reverse, that is 10,500, and this 7 by 20 becomes 20 by 7. Is it clear? This becomes 20 by 7. Now we can cancel. This is 7 1s are, here 7 1s are, 7 5s are, that is 15 7 are 105. So 2 zeros and remaining is same. So 15 2s are 30, here you have 3 zeros. So that means this becomes your final answer. X is nothing but 30,000 square meters. Is it clear? So because here 35% value is given, that is 10,500. Here we are finding the total value, that is X, we are getting as 30,000 square meters. Suppose meters is given, it becomes square meters. Or centimeters is given, it becomes square centimeters. So this is the regular method, right? You know this all of this method. First taking x and assuming 35% of this x as this value. This is the regular method, right? So what is the direct method here? Is it clear? So if you take any garden or any number or anything, its original value always represented by 100% value. Is it clear? So if you take anything, its original, its initial value, its total value is represented by 100%. It's clearly mentioned that 35% is 10,500, where you have to find 100% value, that's it. That represents the same answer. Okay. So let us see that. So if you observe taking here, 35% of that represents 10,500. This is given exactly in the question. So we are finding the entire garden. Entire garden is nothing but 100%. So which is this one. That's all. This becomes the answer. So here just you can cross multiply 100 into 10,500, 10,500 divided by 35. Is it clear? This value. Like this we have to cross multiply. So it becomes 35. Right? So you can write here 35 1s are and 35 3s are 105. 2 zeros. So if you observe here 100 into 300, it becomes 3000. So which represents the exact value of that garden. Our area of that garden is 30,000 square meters. Is it clear? In previous method we are taking x, here instead of x we can do directly this method, because this is the cross multiplication method. If asking to find any total value or any total number, just you can find 100% value, because that represents the entire value of that garden or entire value of that number. Clear now? Right, because in both the cases you are getting same answer, so our method is correct. That is 30,000 square meters. Clear? Right. Go for the next one. So observe here. So this is also based on same. If an employee, that is, if an employee salary is that is 62.5% of his salary. So out of an employee salary is given 62.5% salary is given. Is it clear? 62.5% salary is given, that is 4,500 rupees. Now he is asking find his total salary. Just now we discuss either it is total or entire or initial thing, always we can find for 100%, right? Because already 62.5% is given as 4,500. So just I am writing that 62.5% which is given as 4,500. This is good. Now I am finding 100%. This value is how much? Right? So coming to this question, just you can cross multiply. So that is 100 into 4,500 divided by 62.5. Again, if you convert 62.5, it becomes how much? 2 into 62, 124 plus 1, 125. So 125 by 2. Is it clear? Again, don't write 100 in denominator. Here you have percentage symbol, right? This is just like 20% only. You can take 20 itself. Don't write 100 in denominator, because here also you have 100% we are taking. That 100 and this 100 will be cancelled. No need to write. So it becomes, finally if you take this value, it can be written as 100 into 4,500 divided by 125 by 2 becomes 2 by 125. That is I am writing here 2 by 125. This is the final thing. Here you have to cancel these values. So 25 5 is 125 and 25 4 is 100. And coming to next one, 5 1s and this is 5 9s. So 900. So here 2 4 is 6 and 6 9s. So how much it is? Right, 9 2 is 18, 18 4 is 800. So 2 into 4, that is 8, 8 into 900 you can write. So 8 9 is 72, so it becomes 7,200 rupees. That is the salary of that employee. Is it clear all of you? Simply 62.5% value is given, you have to find 100% value, right? From that you are getting 7,200 as his salary, right? Otherwise, same thing you can do in another method also. What is that method? So here all I told you, when these type of mixed fractions is given, percentage is given in terms of mixed fraction. When mixed fraction is given, convert into a normal percentage or normal fraction. Is it clear all of you? For example, 62.5. I am converting into a percentage into fraction. You know how to convert a percentage into fraction. It becomes how much? 125 by 2. Percentage symbol you means you can write in 100 in denominator. So it becomes 25 5s, 25 4s. So total it becomes, what is the fraction here? 5 by 2 4s, 8. That means, what is the exact meaning of this? 62.5% we can write it as 5 by 8. That means this 8 represents 100% value of the number. This is the total salary and these 5 parts represent the given salary. That is 62.5% salary. Is it clear all of you? To avoid these percentages in mixed fraction, we are converting into normal fraction. That is 5 by 8. Where this 5 by 8 indicates that 8 indicates total salary of that person and this 5 indicates only 62.5% of that salary, right? So that is I am writing here. Here 5 parts you can take. This 5 parts indicates how much is salary? 4,500. Now you have to find for this 8 parts. This represents how much? That is asking. So cross multiply 8 into this one, cross multiplication 4500 by 5. So 5 ones are 5 nines. So again same thing you are getting, right? 8 into 9 72. So 2 zeros. 7200 is his monthly salary as his total salary. Is it clear? So this is the easy method. When mixed fraction is given, convert this fraction, mixed fraction into a normal fraction. This percentage into a normal fraction. If you are getting 1 by 2, 1 by 2 means that 2 indicates total salary and that 1 indicates given salary. Given salary is nothing but 62% of salary. Here this 5 parts indicates this salary and you have to find for 8 parts. Is it clear? So instead of doing this, this is the easy method. Is it clear all of you? Right. So whenever this type of questions is given, always you can use this method. Let's go for the next question. Right, see here is clearly given that a class consists of 60% of boys and 80 girls. Is it clear? Now is asking what is the or find the total number of students. So if one thing is clear here, 60% of boys is given. Is it clear? 60% of boys and number of girls directly is given 80%. Clear now? So if you observe here boys percentage is given 60%, then automatically girls percentage becomes 40%. Because out of total 100%, 60 are boys and 60% are boys means 40% becomes girls. Right? So that means this is in terms of percentage. Girls number in terms of percentage is 40%. In terms of number is 80 girls. So those two represent same thing, right? So girls percentage which is 40% represents 80 girls. Now here you have to find total strength. I told you if you want to find total strength directly you can find 100% value. Because it's not asking about the girls or not asking about the boys. How many boys are there means that is different. So directly you can find for 60% value. But is asking about total number of students. So girls percentage, girls number. If you know that too, this becomes very easy. Because if we are finding total number of students here. So it becomes how much again? Cross multiplication, that is 100 into 80 by 40. So 41s are 42s. So total number of students becomes 200. This value represents the total number of students of the class. Is it clear? So this is a very simple question, right? So instead of asking your where is asking total strength. Here again no need to find your 60% value. If you find 60% value, you will get number of boys. Again you should add those two. Number of boys plus number of girls indicates total strength of the class. Right? So that is one method. In that method again you have to find number of boys. That is extra step. So instead of finding that number of boys, directly you can find the total number of students. Right? Right. So coming to next. If an employee's salary, his expenditure is 85% of his salary. So in an employee's salary, 85% is his expenditure and savings is 900 rupees. Is it clear? So is given savings. Now is asking find the total salary. Just like previous example. So girls and boys strength is given. Here also is mentioned that same question. This is also same concept, right? So here 85% of his salary is given. This is expenditure. 85% is his expenditure. That means out of 100%, if his salary is you can take in as 100%, out of this 100%, this 85% is expenditure. 85% expenditure means remaining should be savings. Is it clear? Because income minus expenditure indicates savings. That is 100 minus 85%, that is 15% indicates savings. Right, that is I am writing. So savings is equal to 15%. And one more thing is also given, and savings is 900 rupees is given. That means this is in terms of percentage and this is in terms of rupees, but both indicate savings only. That is why I am equating this 15% to 900 rupees. Is it clear, all of you? Right? So now we have to find total salary. Total salary is same as 100%. Indicates how much. So that's all. Cross multiplication, you will get 100 into 900 divided by 15. So 15 ones are 15, 6 are 90. So 60 is a 900. What is the total salary becomes? 60 into 100. 6,000 rupees is total salary. Is it clear? So same question as previous one only, but here in terms of expenditure and savings is given. So savings indicate 15%, so definitely that is 900 rupees, because both indicate savings only. This is in terms of percentage is given, this is in terms of rupees is given. That is why we are equating those two. So we are finding 400%, which indicates is total salary. Clear now? Right. Right. So in a term, 65% people are literates and the number of literates are 1050. Find the total population. So this question, if you observe, same thing again. Is it clear, all of you? So 65% people are literates and the number of illiterates are 1050. Opposite is given again. So percentage of boys and number of girls is given. Percentage of expenditure and number of savings rupees is given. Opposite thing is given, right? Here also 65% are literates. Literates percentage is given and illiterates number is given. So same thing, if you can apply here, what is your answer becomes? Everybody has to do this because it's very simple, right? So 65% is literates definitely, then illiterates becomes how much percentage? 100 minus 65, that is 35% becomes illiterates. In terms of percentage, illiterates are 35%. In terms of number, illiterates are 1050. That's all. Is it clear? What is I am writing? So number of illiterates or percentage is given. See, 35% indicates this number 1050. So total population is asking, you can find 400%. So that becomes your answer. So it is how much? 100 into 1050 divided by 35. So it becomes 35 ones are 35 threes are 1050. So 3000 people indicates the total population of the town. Is it clear? Right. So coming to this question, so again this is same, right? In a class there are 60% of boys. If the number of boys are 60 more than the girls, find the total number of students. These are very basic questions, right? First, at least you have to concentrate on these questions. You have to do this type of questions, because in lower level examinations, which is the qualification for like inter is the qualification, some exams are there like CHSL, but definitely concentrate on these type of question. There is no doubt in that, right? In a class, there are 60% are boys. If the number of boys are 60 more than the girls is given, and find the total number of students is asking. In last class, we already discussed some percentage questions, which is quite different from this one, because in that is given two percentages, like 60% are boys and remaining 40% are girls. And he is asking the question that how many number of boys are more than the girls. That type of question is asked. But coming to this question, that is already given here. Number of boys are 60 more than the girls. That is clearly given, right? So let us see that. So in a class 60% are boys is given. So boys percentage you can write 60%, and if you take girls percent, out of 160 are boys means remaining 40% should be girls. This is clear, right? And if you observe carefully, what is the difference of percentages between these two? Is it clear? So 60% and 40% difference is 20%, which indicates that it's 60 boys. Is it right or wrong? Right? Because this is in terms of percentage. In terms of percentage, the number of boys or percentage of boys more than the girls is 20%. In terms of number, here 60 boys are more than the girls. So that means this difference indicates this difference. Because 60 or more than the girls means that is just difference between the number of boys and girls only. Is it clear, all of you? Suppose, for example, here 500 boys are there and here 560 girls are there. That indicates that what is the difference between these two? 60. Here 60 girls are more than the boys. Is it clear? 60 number of girls are more than the boys, which is same as the difference between boys and girls is 60. Right? So same concept here, the difference of percentages indicates the difference of boys between these two. Right? So now is asking to find total number of students. Just we have discussed total number of students is nothing but 100% is how much? Then you can write here 100 into cross multiplication 60 by 20. 21s are 23s. So your answer becomes 300. Is it clear? Total number of students in that class becomes 300. In this way, we can do this type of question. This is very, very important and very basic question. So always remember, take this difference, and this difference indicates difference of number of boys and girls. Right? Next one. So here, this type of questions are also important. In an exam, is given that pass marks is 35%. So you have to get 35% of the marks, then you will be pass. A student got 32% of the marks and failed by 6 marks. Find the total marks in an examination or in the examination. So simply is given 35% is the pass marks of the examination, but the student got only 32% of the marks and he failed by 6 marks. One thing you can observe here, if you add that 6 marks to the person or if you add that 6 marks to the student, then he will become pass. Is it clear? Because he failed by only 6 marks. Now I am adding that 6 marks to the person or the student, then he will become pass in the examination. Is it clear? If you add that 6 marks to this 32%, that indicates 35% of the marks. Because here 35% indicates pass percentage itself. Is it clear, all of you? So just observe the equation I am writing here. So this equation indicates here, first the student got 32% of the total marks. For example, total marks of the examination is X in a simple way. So 32% of X plus he failed by 6 marks is given. Now I am adding the 6 marks, which is equal to 32% of X plus 6. If you add the 6 marks to the person marks or student marks, then he will become pass. That pass percentage is already given, so that is 35% of X. This is the pass percentage. Is it clear? This indicates same marks and this also indicates same marks. So if you observe, take this 32% of X, that's 35% of X minus 32% of X is nothing but X. So 35 minus 32, that is 3X. Here you will get 6. And 3 ones are 3 twos. How much you are getting? X is equal to 2 you are getting. But coming to here, this is 35% means here 3% you will get. 3% means here you can write 3 by 100. If you observe this step here, 3% is nothing but 6 is equal to 3 by 100 into x. So 3 ones are 3 twos are. So 100 into 2, 200 is equal to x. What is this 200 here? That is the total marks of the examination, because we have taken x as total marks in the beginning. Is it clear now? So this statement is important. We have to know how to write this one. That is very, very important, because if you take x as the total marks, this 32% of the total he got already, and he failed by 6 marks. Now I am adding that 6 marks to the student marks, then he will become pass. This represents pass percentage, and because pass percentage is already given 35%, so from that we got x value, which is same as total marks of the examination. Is it clear? That's it. Or here, instead of taking x, how can you do that? Here the person has to get 35% marks, and here he got only 32% of the marks. Is it clear? So this difference indicates difference of 6 marks, because here 32% he got, here he got 35%. This is the different 3%, which indicates that is the difference of marks he has to get to pass the examination. Suppose pass examination 35% is given. For example, observe here. Suppose the 35% of the marks is 50 marks, for example, and he got 32% of the marks, which indicates that we can write 46 marks, for example. 35% is 50 and 32% is 46. This difference is almost 3%, which indicates the difference of this marks itself, that is 4 marks. This percentage difference indicates that difference of marks itself. Is it clear? So same thing you can apply for this question. Here 35%, 32%, difference is 3%. 3% difference is, here you can take the difference of marks. Here failed by 6 marks is given, because 35%, 32% of the marks, the difference is 6 marks. So directly you can take 3% indicates 6 marks. He is asking to find total percent, that is 100%. Is how much? So cross multiplication. 100 into 6 by 3. 3 ones are 3 twos are. So directly you got 200 marks, which indicates the total marks of the examination. Clear now? Right. So coming to this question, what is given? In an election between 2 candidates, one person got 56% of the votes, and he has won with the majority of 720 votes. Now he is asking find the number of total votes polled. If you observe clearly here only 2 persons are candidates, or 2 candidates participating in the election. Out of those 2 candidates, one candidate got 56% of the votes. And that too, one more statement is also given. He is the winner and he wins by 720 votes. Majority is nothing but that is the difference between the 2 persons. For example, first person got 600 votes. First person got 600 votes. Observe here. For example, the person got 600 votes. Another person got 400 votes, for example. Now, I am saying that the first person wins by 200 votes, wins with a majority of 200 votes. Is it same or not? Here the majority is nothing but that is the difference of votes between 2 persons. Is it clear? All of you understand the statement, right? Here understanding the statement is important. That gives you the answer. Because I am taking just first one got 600, second one got 400 votes, and I am saying that this first person wins a majority of or wins by 200 votes, or the first person got a majority of 200 votes, which indicates that is the difference between these two persons. Is it same or not? Which indicates that is the difference of the votes between two persons. Right? So now I am saying that same concept we can apply for this one also. Let us see it. So first person got 56% of the votes. Thus you can write, this is the first person and this is the second person. Right? So first person got 56% of the votes. So here only 2 persons are participating in the election, which indicates that first person got 56% means automatically second person got a remaining percentage of the votes. So if you take the total number of votes as 100%, so this is 56 means remaining 100 minus 56, that is 44%. Is it clear enough here? First person is 56 already mentioned in the question itself. Definitely the remaining percentage is 44%. Now if you observe these two here, 56 and 44, what is the difference? So that is nothing but 12%. This 12% is nothing but this is the difference of votes between these two. Is it clear? In terms of percentage is 12%. In terms of votes is nothing but majority is given. Just now discuss. Majority or less or more indicates difference between the two cases. Here difference between the two persons. So 12% indicates this 720 votes. Now we have to find total number of votes which indicates 100%. Is how much? Cross multiplication, that is 100 into 720 by 12. Is it clear? So 12 ones are 12 6. So your answer becomes 100 into 60, that is 600 votes. Is it clear? Sorry, 0 is there. So 6000 votes you can write. So 12 6 right, 600 votes. 12 6 is 72 and you will get 0. 60 into 100 you will get 6000. So total number of votes polled is 6000 votes. Is it clear enough? Right. So coming to this question, we can see in election between two candidates, one person got 45% of the votes and he was defeated by 750 votes. Less. Find the total number of votes. Just now discuss whether you won or lose, that's based on the difference of the votes. That indicates you got less votes or you got more votes, which indicates that difference of votes between the two persons. Is it clear? So again here also two persons participating. First person, second person, and first person got is given, or one person got 45% of the votes, that means this person got 45% of the votes. So definitely second person got 55% because that is the remaining votes. 45 plus 55 becomes 100% of the votes. Right? And next thing is we can take the difference between these two, 45 and 55. What is the difference here? 10%. This is the difference of votes in terms of percentage, and difference of vote in terms of number is 750. Both indicate same meaning, right? So you can find for 100%. That's all, because it's asking total number of votes. So that is 100 into 750 by 10. Cross multiplication. So 0 0 will be cancelled. 75 into 100. 7500 or 7500, which indicates the total number of votes polled. Right? So always you can take either it is less or more, or wins by a majority or lose by or defeated by some votes. That indicates that difference of votes between the two persons is given. Clear? Right. So this is another important model, this one. Is it clear? Because clearly mentioned there, in an examination, just now discussed, same question there is. In an examination, pass marks is given 35% and a student got 190 marks and failed by 20 marks less. Now the question is, what is the total marks of the examination, or find the maximum marks of the examination. Just now I discussed, this is 35% of the marks and student got 190 marks and failed by 20 marks. Is it clear? In previous question is given some percentages like 32% of the marks he got and failed by 6 marks is given. Instead of that 32%, directly is given number of marks. It's very simple if you compare with that question. Is it clear? Here directly 190 marks he got is given. If you add that 190 marks to the 190 and failed by 20 is given, sorry. He got 190 marks and failed by 20 marks. If you add 20 marks to that 190 marks, then he will become pass. Is it clear? Because this many marks he got less to become pass. Now I am adding the 20 marks to 190, then he is going to pass in the examination. Right? So let us write that this 190 plus 20, which indicates 35% of the marks, because this represents pass percentage, right? This is in terms of percentage, and these two if you add, that represents pass marks in terms of marks or in terms of number. 190 plus 20. This get to score all of you, right? Very important this model, because very simple question. This is the pass percentage and these are the pass marks. That's it. Now you have to find for 100% for total marks. So if you observe here, we can write cross multiply 100 into 190 plus 20. It becomes 210 and divided by 35. Here you can cancel directly. Is it clear? 35, 6 are, you can cancel directly. So next it becomes 6 into 100. So 600 is the maximum marks of the examination, total marks of the examination. This step is important here. 190 marks and failed by 20 marks is given. That is why I am adding the 20 marks, then it represents the pass marks of the examination. And already is given pass percentage. That's it. You can do it in different ways also. You can take x also, you will get the answer. 35% of x represents this total 210 marks. Then you can find x value, which same thing will get as 600. So this is the method how you can follow instead of taking x. Clear? Right. In a town, total numbers are 5,000. Total number of voters are 5,000, for example. When an election is conducted between two persons and 20% of votes are invalid. So 20% of the votes are taken as invalid. One candidate got 54% of votes and he was the winner. Is it clear? He was the winner. Now is asking find the number of votes of the defeated candidate. That's it. So if you observe clearly here, he has taken 54% of the votes. 54% of the votes. A person is win or lose, that is based on the votes gained by that person. And one more thing is, while counting the votes, always you can take the valid number of votes, or valid votes only you can count. Is it clear? Invalid votes you never count for those persons. Right? So that means out of 5,000 here is clearly mentioned that 20% of the votes are invalid is given. That means no need to take that votes while counting. Is it clear? Only 80% of this 5,000 we have to take into the consideration, because 20% are invalid. Those are not counted while counting the votes. Clear? So first I am finding what is the 20% of 5,000. 20% of 5,000. Already you know that 10% is 400, then 20% becomes 1,000. So 1,000 votes are invalid. So just you can subtract those 1,000. That is 4,000. So total number of valid votes is only 4000 votes. Out of those 4000, 1% got 54% of the votes and the remaining person got remaining percentage. Is it clear? So don't take this 5000 votes of 54%. That becomes wrong. Always we have to subtract these invalid votes. Only you have to consider valid votes. So one person got 54% of the votes is given. So definitely second person got remaining percentage. 100 minus 54, that is 46% of the valid votes. I am asking that person, defeated candidate is asking. So which indicates that 46% of 4000. Because 54% by winner. So remaining percentage is 46 out of 4000. So 46 by 100 into 4000. So two zeros will be cancelled and this is 4 6 are 24, 4 4 is 16 plus 2 8. So 1840 votes. These are the number of votes gained by the defeated person or loser. Is it clear? So simply first always you can divide this 20% or you can subtract those 20% from the total number of votes because those number of votes are invalid. Only have to take valid number of votes. Out of this valid number of votes, 54% for first one, remaining 46% for second one. Clear now? So, in an election between two persons, 10% of votes are invalid. Just now discussed 10% votes are invalid. One candidate got 58% of the votes and wins by or own the majority of 1440 votes. Now is asking find the total number of votes. One thing here you can observe clearly, find the total number of votes is not asking valid votes or invalid votes. Total number of votes when is asking, vote indicates that which includes invalid votes also. Total number of votes polled. If you take total number of votes polled, some of the votes definitely will get invalid votes because of some mistakes. So including those, then only it is called as total number of votes. Is it clear? Valid votes plus invalid votes indicates total number of votes. Is it clear? Let us see it. So first person got 58% of the votes. Definitely second person got remaining percentage, that is 42%. What is the difference here? 42 and 8, that is 8 plus 8, 16%. So this 16% is the difference between those two, which indicates this majority or difference is 1440. This is given. Now we find what is the total number of this 100 is nothing but what here? I am finding these votes are what? Valid votes only because we are counting here 58%, 42% means if valid votes are taken as 100%. Okay, so 100% value becomes how much? This we are counting only valid votes. Remember this one, this is valid votes. So 100 into 1440 divided by 16. So it becomes how much? 16 1 16 8 9, that is 90. So 9000 votes. So 9000 votes are what here? Valid votes, because those are used to count these persons, right? You have 58% of this 9000 got, 42% of 9000 votes he got. But one statement is clearly given that 10% of the votes are invalid. That means this valid votes represented by only 90%. Is it clear, all of you? This is not total number of votes. We have taken only valid votes here. Right? So that means if you take this 10% invalid subtraction, you will get 90%. Is it clear? This 90% indicates valid votes because we are subtracting this 10% of the votes. Where valid votes how much you got? 9,000. So 90% indicates 9,000. Now you have to find total number of votes polled. Total number of votes polled means again 100% you have to find. So it becomes 100 into 9,000 by 90. So 90 hundreds. So our answer becomes 10,000. This is the total number of votes polled in the election. Is it clear? Don't confuse because first we have to consider for 100% for valid votes only. Suppose 8,000 votes are valid. We have taken that 8,000 as 100%. That is the total number of valid votes. We are getting 9,000. But is clearly condition is given 10% are invalid. That means only 90% value indicates this 9,000. So we want total number of votes which is indicated by 100%. Clear? Right. So coming to here, in an examination, pass marks is 40%. A student got 230 marks and he got 30 marks more than the pass marks. Now is asking find the total number of marks. Coming to this here, already discussed one question based on this examinations and marks. Is it clear? But here something that is different from those three. So 40% a student got 230 marks and he got 30 marks more than the pass is given. In previous one, 6 marks less than the pass. That is why failed. But here 30 marks more than the pass is given. If you remove those 30 marks, again it represents pass marks only. Is it clear? For example, the pass marks of the examination is you can take 70 marks for example, and you got 100 marks, which indicates that you got 30 marks more than the pass. If you remove those 30 marks from the marks, you will get pass marks of the examination. Is it clear? And also the person got 100 marks, which indicates 30 marks more than the pass. Now I am subtracting those 30, 100 minus 30, you will get 70 marks, which indicates the pass marks of the examination. Here also the person got 230 marks, but out of those 230, which indicates that 30 marks are more than the pass. That means if you subtract 30, you will get 200, which indicates that pass marks of the examination. Is it clear? What is I am writing? So 230 minus 30, that is 200, which indicates pass marks of the examination. And this is in terms of marks and this is in terms of percentage. Is it clear? So this 40% indicates 200 marks. Now you have to find for 100%. Total marks is asking. So how much it becomes? 100 into 200 by 40. 0045. So your answer becomes 500. Is it clear? So this indicates the pass marks of the examination. Sorry, maximum marks of the examination. Clear? Right, see this question here. In an examination, if you observe last question and this question, here 2 persons is given, or a person but 2 cases is given. Here both A and B have, so observe this one. In an examination, student A scored 28% of the marks and failed by 10 marks less. Another student B scored 35% marks and he got 4 marks more than the pass. Now is asking what is the maximum marks of the examination or total marks of the examination. So let us observe this case here. Like this one. First one, student A you can write. Second one, student B. A scored 28% of the marks. For example, you can write here total marks is equal to x. This is the general method. First observe this one. Total marks is x. Out of this x marks, student A scored 28% of the marks. So I am writing student A 28% of the marks. That is 28% of x. And he failed by 10 marks less. That means if we add the 10 marks, then he will become pass. So just I am adding plus 10. This is about A. Now he is passed. Because both are writing the same exam. But the pass marks of the examination is same for those two students. Suppose 35%, we also 35%. Suppose pass marks is 200 means B has also get 200 marks, then also he will be pass. Right? So coming to B, B scored 35% of the marks. That is 35% of the X. And he got 4 marks more than the pass. So that is why I am subtracting those 4. So minus 4. Then that also indicates pass marks of the examination. So previously 2 questions just combined as given as 1 question. Is it clear? First person got 28% of the marks and failed by 10 marks. If you add the 10 marks, this represents pass marks. Here the second person got 35% of the total marks and he got 4 marks more than the pass. Now I am subtracting those 4 marks. That indicates pass marks. So what indicates the pass marks? That is why I am equating those two. That's so here 28%, take that side. 35% of x minus 28% of x. How much it becomes? So that is 7%. So 7% of x. And minus 4 you have, take this side, it becomes plus 4. So 10 plus 4, 14. 7% of x is equal to 14. So 7% is nothing but 7 by 100. You can write directly. I am writing here. 7 by 100. 7% means. So 7 ones are 7 twos are. So x is nothing but 100 into 2. So you will get 200. That indicates the maximum marks of the examination. Is it clear now? So just we are equating these two here. Pass marks. Because one exam definitely have only one pass mark or pass marks percentage. Clear now? So same thing you can perform in another way also. See. Just I am writing here, first one got 28% of the marks, second one got 35% of the marks. Suppose first one is 28% is clearly mentioned but is failed by 10 marks. So failed by 10 marks means you can add those 10 marks, plus 10 you can write. Is it clear? In second case, this person got 35% and he got 4 marks more than the pass. We have to subtract those 4 marks. Now observe the difference here. What is the difference between 28 and 35? 7%. And coming to here, what is the difference between plus 10 and minus 4? Don't take 10 minus 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. Observe carefully here. Plus 10 to minus 4. What is the difference? Like if you take 10 digits, so minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, plus 1, plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10. What is this total number of numbers becomes? That is nothing but 14 numbers you will get. Is it clear? If you count from minus 4 to plus 10, total 14 you will get. That is why don't subtract these two directly. 10 minus 4 you will get 6. That becomes 0. In this case, that is you have to consider. So plus 10 minus 4 means you have to take 14. 10 plus 14. Directly you can add these two. 10 and 4. So 7% indicates 14. 100% indicates how much? Is it clear? So that becomes a required answer. So you will get 200. Is it clear now? So whenever you are getting plus and minus combinations, or minus plus combination, so you can add directly 10 plus 4, 4. Like that you can add those two directly. For example, you are getting minus and minus combination. That means first person got 4 marks more than the pass, second person got 6 marks more than the pass. More, both the cases more marks you got, so that is minus case. Or plus. For example, first person got 6 marks less than the pass, or he failed by 6 marks, and second person failed by 8 marks. Failed by means minus or plus. We can add those two, right? When minus is given, plus is given, then directly we can subtract those values. You can observe next example in case. So if plus minus you are getting, add those two directly. 10 plus 4, 14 will get. If you are getting 2 minus or 2 plus, then you can subtract directly. For example, here you are getting plus 4. 10 plus 10 plus 4 you are getting. What is the difference you can consider? 10 and 4 difference is 6. That is why I am telling you have to subtract those two. Clear now? Let us see the next example here. Observe here. In an examination, student A scored 38% of the marks and he got 24 marks more than the pass. Another student B scored 46% of the marks and he got 56 marks more than the pass. Find the maximum marks of the examination. Just now I told you this example is given for that. What is mentioned here? 24 marks more than the pass. Here 56 marks more than the pass. In both the cases more than is given. That means you have to subtract those 56. Minus case you will get. Let us see that. First 38% of the marks and he got 24 marks more than the pass. Now I am subtracting those 24. Minus 24. Then that represents pass marks of the examination. So here also I got 46% of the marks and he got 56 marks more than the pass. Again you have to subtract 56 from that. That represents again pass marks of the examination. Now observe the difference. 38 and 46. That is 16 plus 2, 18. Sorry, 8 marks is. So 38 and 46, that indicates 8%. This 8% indicates that 56 and 24 difference we can consider. So how much difference becomes? This is 2, 3, 32. Directly you can subtract those two. 56 and 24 difference is 32. In which case we are getting 2 subtractions or 2 minus. So here it indicates 32. What is 100%? Is clearly 100 into 32 by 8. 8 ones are 8 fours. So 4 into 100, our answer becomes 400. That is the maximum marks of the examination. Right? So don't forget to subscribe. This is Uday, Faculty of Quantitative, signing off.